Harinam Sankirtan ki, Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda ki, Samaveta Bhaktarvrinda ki, His Grace Navīna Nīrada Prabhu ki. So I'm very fortunate that we have His Grace Navīna Nīrada Prabhu here. Let's welcome him by loudly chanting Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Navina Prabhu joined the movement Śrīla Prabhupada when I was born in 1984. So that's his experience. From last more than 4 decades, he's traveling across the globe, is preaching, giving Kṛṣṇa consciousness to the every corner of the world. And when I was talking to him last few weeks back, I said we did number 1 in India, Cyberabad on Bhadra Purnima. Say Hari Bol. He felt happy and he said, I'm in Ukraine. I just got a bomb 300 meters away just now. And I distributed a Bhagavatam set. He did 25 Bhagavatam sets in Ukraine while there is a bomb war is going on. So that's the personality we have here. Distributing books, not in Hyderabad, Bangalore, or in some front of a temple, Balaji temple. Is distributing Bhagavatams where they don't know Krishna. There is nobody knows of Krishna. There was a war going on. He goes to China, he goes to Japan. So a man of books, of decades of experience, and just focused in one area all these years. Was Śrīla Prabhupada's favorite book distribution. Prabhupada's best way to please me is distributing the books. So we are very happy. A worldwide preacher traveling across the globe. He mostly based in Mayapur, and apart from traveling, he also does a lot of community services in Mayapur, a lot of counseling to many devotees. So we're very fortunate to have a legacy of book distribution with us today. His Grace Navīna Prabhu. Let's welcome him from heartfully from all of us. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Every year I spend some days in Kartik with Vaishesh Prabhu, Navina Prabhu, in small ashram in Govardhan, where we read Prabhupada books whole month. I spent few weeks while Prabhu is there for whole month. So that way I have a little association. I'm grateful to you for coming here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Śrīla Prabhu. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripadamaham vande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyevacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Haribo. We good? Okay. So very happy to be here. It's my first time here, if I remember correctly. So, Tadvigyanartam sa gurumeva vigachet samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. If you want to attain Vedic wisdom, you have to carry firewood in your hand. How many of you are carrying firewood? Not many, right? Not so much wood around here. But you can carry the books. That's also made from wood, okay? If you want to do Vedic studies, you have to do yajna, because without yajna, you don't understand what is in the text. So how are you going to do yajna? You can read books all you want. If you don't do yajna, you don't have the access code. If you go to your friend's house, what do you ask him? Do you have any friends here? No, you just live online, right? No friend. If you go to your friend's house, what do you ask them? What's the first question you ask? Wi-Fi password, correct. Yes. I see I have signal, but no access code. Then the friend says, oh, this is confidential information. I'm not sure I can share that with you. So you may know, okay, you have some idea, but you don't get access. Why not? Because you have not paid the price. What is the price? Samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. That is the price. So we have so many gifts. We have wonderful deities and books and kirtan and sangha. But if we don't know how to do the yajna, you see, you can't outsource yajna. You can't just say, okay, e hundi and e yajna and e this and e that and pay this and that and let some pandit do the puja and let him chant the mantras. And you pay somebody to chant your rounds and you pay somebody else to follow the regs for you. Does it work? No. Why not? Because bhakti is not a spectator sport. It's participatory. Samyak kirtan, Sankirtan, means everybody together. So our textbook is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is our pramana. This is our pramana. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. The best of the Gita, the best of the Bhagavatam, the best of all the Vedas, it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If all the books go missing, if you have this, you still got the essence. Nothing is lost. So, we have these wonderful books. Why? Because Śrīla Prabhupāda, he stayed up every night. And for 2 or 3 hours, he translated 6 pages. How many of you are staying up all night? Maybe those who are working with California. Yeah, I know. I understand. 12-hour, yeah. I understand. So, but that doesn't count because the motivation is different. The agenda is different. So, the question is, how can I access? What is the access code? Trinarapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna amane ramanadena kirtaniya sadahari. It's not easy to be humble. I was on Miami Beach, on South Beach, 2 young businessmen walking around, looking very posh, having the right kind of dress and watches, having very animated discussion. And I want to talk to them, but it's very difficult to talk to them because Abhiman is very big. You know Abhiman? You met Abhiman? Yes? You know, right? You know. Good team here. Educated fellows. So I don't know what to say. You ever been in a situation where you don't know what to say? What do? Call mom? Ask Siri? Count your money? No. What do you do when you don't know what to do? Yes, which means, Krishna, I need help. ISKCON, right now. I need a miracle. I can't do this. I cannot reach these people. But you can. So I just walk up to them and I say, I know it's hard to be humble when you're 53 years old and 6'3" tall. And one of the fellows went, do you know me? You've been following me? And he got really paranoid. And I said, I'm 53. I'm 6'3". I know how you feel. And I gave him a big hug. And then I said, this is for you, my friend. And he took out his wallet. He gave me $20. And he said, this is for you, my friend. And we hugged again. And we parted our ways. Nothing was said, but everything was communicated. And some people have nothing to say, and then they say it. And there is so much words, but no meaning, no purpose. So, if you want to improve on your soft skills, then Sankirtan is the way to go. I was in Munich, downtown, and there was a Audi Cabriolet, you know, very nice posh car. And I talked to the gentleman, and I said, this is for all the super smart, socially awkward people. And he said, this is for me, this is for me. What is it? What do you got? I said, okay, drive to the side. I'll explain to you how it works. So you may be super smart in one area, but you may be oblivious in other areas. Because we all have our blind spots, you know. We all have our areas where we're not so, like if you ask you about history was not on the menu, right? It was more like math, science, all the hard stuff, right? Humanities, not really. Huh? So, but it's important to study history because history repeats itself. Have you heard of Nokia?
Yes.
Huh? What happened to Nokia? They got stuck in the sauna. Huh? They missed it. They missed the boat. They missed the bus. They're still in the cell towers, but as far as mobile phones, finish. Kaput. Only these dumb phones, you know, these 800 to 1600 rupee phones. The rest is gone. It's all either Android or Apple. Why? What happened? They were the market leader. Huh? What happened to Pan Am? What happened to Swiss Air? They went bankrupt twice, and they got sold for 100 rupees, for €1 to Lufthansa. Why? Because they were a little too comfortable. They were a little too confident. They were a little too proud. Huh? And they lost it. So the same thing can happen to us. Huh? Do we have a monopoly on Bhakti or on Gita or on any of that? No. There's thousands of groups who are doing similar things. So what's your value added benefit? Why should I come and talk to you? Huh? Is that a valid question? Yes. So we should be asking ourselves that question and come up with some good answers because people are going to ask you, why should I come to you? I got other options. I got a temple right next to my home. I have my own nonprofit. I'm doing it all. Huh? So why should I come to you? I was in Geneva going business to business, and it was already 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. The lights were out, but I kept knocking on one door and ringing. Corporate office. I don't know why I kept knocking. Normally, once, twice, you move on. But something told me, no, it's okay. Just stick with it. After about 5 minutes, one gentleman came out. Okay, we got some troop movement here. Please all move up 7.5 inches. Okay. All right? Because more people are coming in. We can fit as much as 5,000 people in this room. So the gentleman came out and he said, oh, you must have been waiting for a long time. I heard some knocking. We're having a board meeting here. What do you have? And I showed him Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, it's very interesting. He gave me his business card. He said, call me. I want to meet you. But I have to go back to the meeting. You know, I'm the chairman of the board. I got to go. So I tried calling him for the next 3 weeks. His secretary picked up. She said, he's in London, he's in Milan, he's in New York, he's not here. After 3 weeks, he picked up the phone. And he said, where you been, my friend? I've been waiting for your call. I said, Baba, you're the busy guy. Huh? I'm the one who's been calling you. Okay, so he said, okay, we'll meet tomorrow night, Chinese restaurant. So we went. And when you meet a big guy, then don't ask him for small things, okay? So I just brought Bhagavatam. I just put all the books on the table. And we're talking and explaining and sharing our lives. And he said, so, okay, how much? I say, how much? Well, what do you think? What do you think, how much? He said, about 100 euros per book, you know, 100 euros per book. I said, yeah, that's about average. That's about average. So he paid me that. We kept talking. He said, you know, my fiancée, she's in Italy, and she's doing her PhD in God knows what. And I said, you have to give her a set of books, you know? It's the greatest gift you can give to somebody. So I went to the car, I got another set, and I brought him the set. And he again gave. And we kept talking, and he was so nice. He was agreeing with everything. So at the end I said, look, I gave 2 sets to so many people, but 3 I've never given. So you get another one. Complimentary copy. Give it to a friend or something, okay? So he gave me 3.5 lakhs, just like that. Why? Because I was persistent. Sometimes you have to be persistent. Some people are a little difficult, they're a little hard to reach, but they actually recognize your effort. I have a friend, Narayan Pandit, he's from Croatia, and he was stationed in Shanghai, China. Ni hao ma? Anyone? No Chinese? No? Huh? So he went to Shanghai train station, biggest train station in the world, 33 million people in that city. Millions of people going through that train station. Everywhere, CCTVs, police, undercover, military. He got arrested countless times. What are you doing here? He said, I have Chinese wife, I have children, I have to make money. Where'd you get the books? I bought them outside on market. I have to sell, I have to make money. They said, okay, go away, but don't do it again. One man asked him, what are you trying to do? He said, you know, China had a big tradition of philosophy and spirituality and culture, but now it's all just about making money. It's all just about politics and money. So how are you trying to change that? He said, I'm trying to put 1 set of these books, value education, spiritual tradition, in every university of the country. The man said, show me your books. So he looked at a book, he read, he checked it out. He said, okay, how much? How much is a set? He said, $500. Because Chinese books, they're very big, they're very luxurious, very well done. The man handed him a bag. He said, okay, all right, here is $50,000. That's half a crore, right? $50,000, half a crore. He said, I sponsor 100 sets. So then Narayan Pandit, he put the books in the universities and he gave the man pictures of the professors, the students, testimonials of the librarians. He showed him shipping receipts. The man was so impressed by his transparency, by his accountability, that he said another 100 sets for Hong Kong, another 100 sets for Taiwan, another 100 sets. He sponsored 800 sets and donated more than 4 crores. Just some random guy in a train station. So you never know who you're talking to. I was in San Francisco because my guru asked me to open a center there. You heard of San Francisco? Bay Area? Techie Walas? Huh? So I was walking on Haight Street where it all began, you know, second temple of ISKCON. And I met a gentleman from Switzerland. We started talking French and, you know, nice guy, nice guy. And I said, Lou, you look familiar. And he said, really? Why? How come? I said, I think I know you. He said, why? I said, you know, you look like some politician or something. He said, really? Was I a good guy or a bad guy? I said, no, I think you were a good guy. He said, yeah, that's me. He was president 3 times of the country. But I joined when I was 15, you know, I was not bothered by politics. So he gave a donation. You see, in Switzerland is different. The president goes with the public transport, you know. He's not like, there's no abhiman as such. It's a different thing. You see, we don't do wars. We finance wars. You understand? It's a different type of Maya. There's some people in this world, they want to prove that they are the best. We call them Americans. There's other people, they know that they're the best. We call them Swiss or Japanese or Norwegians. Now, who is more in Maya? You tell me. Wet stool, dry stool, same thing, right? Same thing. Same thing, no difference. Abhiman, Abhiman. Whether you have inflated or depressed false ego, it's still false ego. So, without Atma Tattva Gyan, you're not moving 1 inch closer to your goal. Aishtam yatat punarjanma jayaya. How successful are you at achieving your ultimate objective? I grew up in an educated family. My parents were headmasters in schools, humanities and mathematics. And I went to international boarding school. At the age of 15, a friend of mine in arts class was drawing the picture of Prabhupada from the Bhagavad Gita and asked him, who is this? Can you show me this book? He said, I can show it to you. I said, can I have it? He said, no, you can't have it. It's mine. I'm not going to give it to you. So what happens to a 15-year-old if you tell him you can't have it? Huh? Have you ever tried with your kids? Told them you can't have it, you can't do this? What are you going to do? Ah, yes, how I can get that. I want that. I got to figure out how to get that. That's what happened. And now 42 years later, I'm here and I'm meeting all of you. And it's really exciting because Krishna exceeded all my wildest dreams, my wildest expectations. So if you want to go places and do things, you're in the right place. Bhakti is the way how to move in this world. Because otherwise, making money and spending money is stupid. Anyone can do that. You don't have to go to universities. You don't have to travel the world. It's been done before. But if you want to move people's hearts, if you want to touch people's destiny, you have to be connected to the internal potency. You have to team up with Krishna. So, and for that, we need to understand that I may not have all the answers, but Krishna can empower me, and he can give me the potency. Krishna Shakti Vinana Hetara Pravartan. It's not my own doing. I become inspired and empowered by Krishna when Krishna sees that this jiva is trying to do something to bring people closer to the truth. Satam prasangad mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkarana rasaya nakata. So we need more sat. We need more SAT. You know what it means? Truth, truthfulness. Nowadays, there's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of pretension. But that doesn't really last because it's just external. Dharma prochita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaramnam satam vedyavastamatra shivanam taputrayam mulanam Shrimad Bhagavatam Mahamuni Krite Kimva Pararishvara Sadhya Varudyate. What's the last one? Shushushivi Tat Kṛṣṇa. Thank you. I'm still landing. You know, I got up at 2, went to the airport at 3, Bengaluru, you know, get out of that crazy city. And now we're here. So it's exciting to see some people who are actually motivated to do something for the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because if you want to have a boring life, don't go to Krishna. Okay? Don't go to the Jamuna. Because Murlidhar, he may steal your mind. He may attract you. And he may mesmerize you. So if you just want to balance your papa and punya, you know, your karmic spreadsheet, ISKCON is not your thing. Why? Because Krishna is not doing business. Krishna doesn't have an office. Krishna is all fun, all play, no work. You want to do business? You're dealing with Krishna's agents. Dhanam dehi, rupam dehi, dehi ma dehi. You want more stuff? You're dealing with agents. You want bhakti? You're dealing with Krishna. I was in Mumbai on Marine Drive, Chowpatty Beach, right in front of St. Xavier's College. You know that crossing there? You know, right? Right in front of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. So there was one policeman, one of them traffic wallas, you know, all in white with the big uniform, the big bike, and he had Ray-Ban sunglasses, you know, those like top cup, you know, with the reflecting glasses. And he had just stopped the truck walla, and he was holding the bribe in his hand. And I came up to them, and I put a Bhagavad Gita in his other hand. So he's holding the Bhagavad Gita and he's holding the money. And then I said, give a donation. And he went, system error, system error, system error, system error, system error. It just, his script was completely destroyed, gone, finished. Nothing was there. And the truck driver started laughing and laughing and laughing. And then the cop was laughing. And he handed me the money, what he just got from him. He gave it to me. And I was laughing. And then we're all talking. And then I say, I'm Naveen, I'm from Switzerland. And the truck driver said his name. And the cop said, I'm Krishna. His name is Krishna. And we're laughing again. So if you want to have fun, if you want to experience the magic, do you want to experience the magic? Do you like magic? No? No. Yes. You're too old for that stuff, right? You want to have some magic, some excitement in life, you got to venture out of comfort zone. You got to get out that door into the great unknown. means the public. And just approach people. This morning at the airport at 3:30, I was just walking up to random people and telling them, hi, I'm from Switzerland. Do you need a Swiss banker? No? You don't work for government? You don't have bags full of cash? My older brother just retired with Swiss banking. But he only talks to you for 10 crores or more, okay? So not your problem. Okay, fine. So let's talk. So, and I give him a book. And I meet exceptional people. Exceptional people. I met a head of a private university in Pune who's in charge of philosophy, Sanskrit, and all that stuff. And he was like, wow, this is a good start in the day. You know, he was really impressed. So you want to have an exciting life, join the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're hiring. Okay? We're hiring. Some people are getting laid off, right? We're hiring. The benefits are out of this universe. Okay? So, well, we have to get a little bit into stretch zone. Right now, we're in comfort zone. Okay, you know, I got my security, I got my FDs, I got a little gold, I have a few connections, I know how the game moves. But I got news for you. You want to climb the corporate ladder? You want to get on top of that mountain? I was born on top of the mountain. There is nothing there. I'm sorry. You want to go to Switzerland? I'm born there. Nothing special. Nothing there. I feel more excited in Ukraine with devotees who are risking getting drafted forcefully to the army, thrown to the front lines, going out on Harinam, distributing books, distributing 20,000 meals every day, not knowing where the money is coming from. This is more exciting for me than sitting in Switzerland and waiting, you know, killing time till time kills you. It's not a good prospect. And waiting for old people to die is also not a good strategy. Sometimes you think, yeah, if all the old people are gone, then there will be opportunity, right? No. There will always be plenty of people. They're already old when they're mid-30s. Have you noticed? You meet people? They're already old at mid-30s because they already set into comfort zone. They get calcified. So if you want to stay fresh, you want to keep the innovation alive, you have to find a healthy balance between tradition and innovation. Yes, we need tradition. We need dharma. But we also need to be visible. We need to be relevant. We need to be relatable so people can actually notice that we have something to offer. And that's where all of you come in. We need people in the humanities. We need designers, philosophers, thinkers, psychologists, politicians. It's nice that we have a few people who know how to fix microphones. I like microphones that work. That's fine. But there is more to life than that. So, how to communicate a message? We don't have that much time and that much energy. That's why it's much easier. You just give people books. People ask you a million questions. You say it's already being discussed. It's here, right here for you. Take it. Okay? So in this way, you save your prana. And you see, these books, they can go places where you and I cannot go. One friend of mine, he's born in Argentina, joined in Brazil, but his guru got sick in the US. He needed to get a visa. You know what it takes to get an American visa? Yeah? You've tried, right? Not that easy, right? Huh? Yeah. So he went to the embassy in pant and shirt, and he got rejected. So the next day he came back in dhoti kurta, and he said, I demand to speak to the ambassador. So the lady came, young lady, mid-40s. And he said, yesterday, one of your less intelligent bureaucrats rejected my application. Little did he know that I need to go to the US to serve my guru, because in our tradition, serving the guru is very important. And I know how to cure him. I've done it before, so I need to go there. So she said, so you're not just going to get a job and disappear like everybody else? He said, no, we're missionaries. I'm going there for a mission, and then I'll come back. So she paused for a while, and she said, okay, I'll give you the visa. And as she was getting up from the table, she leaned over. Now you have to understand, they're not alone there. You know, there is military police, the Marines, she's the top dog. She's the top American in the country. She leans over and she says, I read Prabhupada's Gita. Can you reach the American ambassador to Hyderabad? You can't. You don't even know who he or she is, right? You can't. But the books can reach them. Huh? So the people you give books to, they're not always the people who keep the books. These books travel. Huh? And they can go anywhere. Huh? Friend of mine been distributing books in Geneva, on Lake Geneva, and he went to the home of Charlie Chaplin and his wife. She took a Bhagavad Gita. And a few years later, he went back, and Charlie had passed. He passed on. So his wife was saying that in the last few months of his life, he was sitting on a rocking chair on Lake Geneva and was reading Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada said, one time, Shyamasundar was flying in an airplane. I shouldn't tell you all the Charlie Chaplin stories. Anyway, so he's flying on a plane. You know the old days when there was only one big screen? There was no all these little screens where you have your own individual menu. It was one shoe size fits all, right? Everybody, same menu. No, everyone. Communism, right? So they brought on the movie. It was Charlie Chaplin, silent movie. So Shyamasundar said, this is Maya. He put his blanket over his head and he pretended to sleep. After 10, 15 minutes, he peeked out to see what was Prabhupada doing. Prabhupada was watching the movie and he was crying tears. He was crying so hard. He was laughing so hard. He was pouring tears. So then he asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, isn't this Maya? Prabhupada said, yes, but his humor is very original. So Prabhupada liked Charlie and Charlie liked Prabhupada. Okay? Does that mean he's bona fide? Not exactly. But it means that you should be able to recognize talent wherever you see it. Okay? So we shouldn't say that these are bad people or this tradition is bad or this is all Maya. Because yad vibhuti mat sattvam shrimad urjitam evava tattadeva jatsatvam mamate jonja sambhavam. So the next time you see a beautiful car or a beautiful person or a beautiful house or something, instead of saying, oh Maya, you say, hey, this is Krishna's beauty. This is just a spark of Krishna's splendor. How beautiful must the artist be? Huh? Because sour grapes doesn't work. You know sour grapes? Huh? It's all bad. It's all Maya. But inside, oh no, I want it. I can't have it. Can't have it because I can't afford it, because it's illegal, immoral, or it makes you fat. No. You should understand. It's Krishna's potency. But I don't need to have it. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm happy. So, giving people books is not just something you do once a year, but this is high sadhana. Because when you get out there, people are going to ask you, what's in these books? And you say, I don't know. My guru wrote these books for me to sell and for you to read. Is that very convincing? Not really, right? That's called hypocrisy. I asked you to do something that I'm not doing myself. Kids are allergic against this stuff. So be careful. So we have to walk our talk. Otherwise, they call you out on your stuff. They say, Daddy, you said this and now you're doing that. I'm not buying it. So Prabhupada said, I only have one complaint to my followers. They're not reading my books. Not enough. How many of you have read all of Prabhupada's books? All of Prabhupada's books. Hello. Houston, we have a problem here. Huh? How many of you have read Bhagavatam? Okay, that's a good start. Huh? So there's some homework to do, right? Now you may say, too much work, not enough time. If you want to get something done, you ask busy people. Not the guy who sleeps in the park. He's not going anywhere. So that's why we're here talking to you, because you're busy people. Because busy people get things done. If you read one shloka a day, can you read one verse a day? Yes or yes? Yes. Please say yes. Thank you. It's a good group, They're following. So Gita will take you 2 years. Bhagavatam will take you 46 years. You can do it. But you got to start today. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. All the time or once a day. And if you say, I don't have enough time, would you like to have more time in your day? Yes. Yeah? Yes. Okay, so you take your alarm clock and you put it 1 hour earlier. Voila, here's my free gift to you. 1 hour extra time. No one's going to disturb you. The kids are still sleeping, you know, the boss and the company, you're not even online. You just get up and you read. It's just you and Krishna. Have you tried it? It's beautiful, right? You can wake up without an alarm clock if you want to. Because for you who have children, your sadhana happens before the kids get up and after they go to sleep. Or if they go to sleep. Huh? Otherwise, it's playtime. You heard of playtime? Or driving kids around. I know, I have 3. They're all grown. They're working jobs in Switzerland. So you have to know how to manage your time. But just doing a little more of that and a little less of that doesn't do it. You have to develop taste. Huh? People ask me, why are you doing this bhakti thing? You know, you're from Switzerland. You could be anywhere. You could be doing anything. Why are you doing this bhakti thing? Bhakti is for old people, right? Huh? Isn't that what they say? Grandma can do that. Why are you doing that? Well, first of all, what does old mean? Give me a definition of old. No, old means about to die. Who can say that they're not about to die? Nowadays, you can be mid-40s and you have a heart attack right there in your office and boom, game over. Huh? No guarantee. So, and besides that, we have no time to waste. So let us get to the point. Prabhupada, he himself was going out to distribute Back to God magazine in Delhi. He was going out to distribute Bhagavatams. That was his practice. That was his sadhana. That was his preaching. Because his Gurudev asked him to do that. He said, whenever you get money, print books. Now, what do you do when you get money? Huh? You know what you do, right? Huh? So, are you printing books? Are you investing into education? Huh? So we have to be authentic. So we should dedicate a part of our energy, a part of our resources into education and into helping other people to get educated. Because this place is more and more turning into, you know, any of those congested and very competitive and very contentious places. So if we want to keep some sattvic, some humanity, some spirituality alive, we have to make a concentrated effort to insert Krishna into the discussion. And that happens through book distribution. So now the marathon is coming up, and it's a great thing. Yes, you should do a few lakhs of Gitas. But I'd like you also to make sure that every member of your congregation has a full set of Prabhupada's books in their homes. How many of you have a full set? Okay, that's about 40%. So what about the other 60? No taste, no time, no money? Okay, installment plans, reading groups, more counseling, more coaching. It can be done, but we have to invest a little energy. A team is as strong as its weakest link. We have to build teams. I was distributing books in Vrindavan. My book is back there. Anyway, I wrote the book, my last 4 decades of experiences and the formula of success, how to build teams and how to create, how to create something that's bigger, that's going to sustain once we're all gone. So I approached the devotee, and first thing he told me is, look, I have so many books and I haven't read them. I said, look, I read all of Prabhupada's books once a year. If you want to figure out how to do that, this is the formula, okay? You read this, and then you can do the other thing. Does Arjuna or Sachin have a problem with discipline, with diet, or with punctuality? No. Why not? Because they got a mission. What is your mission? Breakfast, no lunch, and maybe a little dinner? What is your mission? Make 1,000 crores? Retire young? What is your mission? What is your purpose? Why are we here? Huh? We have to ask ourselves, are these valid questions? Yes. So ask them and find good answers. And unless your answer is related to Prema Pumartha Mohan, to achieving the highest objective, most likely it's fear-based. You know fear? If you don't do this, you're going to die. If you don't do this, you're going to lose the job. That's called ignorance, tamaguna. Bhayam dvitiya viniveshata syat ishadapitasya viparyo smriti. Fear arises when you see something as separate from Krishna. That's when fear comes into the picture. And fear is not a good friend. Have you noticed what people do when they're afraid? They do strange things. The second level up is Rajagun, the carrot. Okay, you jump a little higher, you run a little faster. We know how to make more lemonade with less lemons. That's called passion, Rajagun. Profit is the motive. And then you have Sattvagun, where it is duty. I'm doing my duty. This is my nature. I'm a teacher. I have to teach. Whether I have one person or nobody, I have to teach. Prabhupada was speaking to the four walls. When he wrote Introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, nobody was there. He was just speaking to the dictaphone. No, he was speaking to the world because he's the spiritual master of the galaxy. And it doesn't matter that no one is sitting in the room. One person sat next to him on the bench and asked him, who are you? What are you doing? He said, me, I have temples, I have disciples, I have books. He had nothing except faith in Guru and Krishna. You may have all the resources. If you don't have faith, you have nothing. And you have had that experience. So we should team up with Prabhupada and assist him, assist our Guru Varga in this most formidable mission of sharing Krishna consciousness with everyone. Because if you're talking to Hyderabad, you're talking to the world. Why? Because Hyderabad is talking to the world. You're providing solutions for the world, right? You're providing service for the world. So you're talking to the world. So don't underestimate. You're right at the right place. You're in the nerve center, right there in the spot. So insert yourself in the conversation and make a difference. So we want to ensure that every member of our society has a full set of books, reads them, and learns how to share them with others. Now, I was just in Kolkata airport, and I meet all these people from Tripura, Nagaland, you know, Northeast, all those states, they all fly through Kolkata because there's no direct flights practically. It all goes via Kolkata. And 90+% Christian. Why? Why? Because they have invested in those areas. They have distributed literature. I'm spending since 40 years time in Mayapur. We could not build a temple there. We could not build nothing there because communism was so strong that you could do nothing. How many Russians came to Bengal? Approximately. Any idea? I know history and politics is not on your menu, but you know. Are you curious? How many? 0. How did they conquer Bengal and Kerala and influence a few other states in such a massive way? They distributed literature in all the languages in a massive way. And communism spread. Even though none of the Russians came here, the ideology came here. That's why governments want to control the press. They want to control the educational system. They want to control the publishing system. That's why books are so important. And books, these are deities. You can offer artik, you can offer boga, you can worship these books. Krishna swadhamapagate dharma jnana divisaha kalaunashtam drishamesha puranarko dunodita. What happened when Krishna left this world? Dharma took shelter in the Bhagavatam. It's there in the books. How do you worship the books? By reading them, by discussing them, by sharing them with others. That's how you worship the books. We used to travel in vans and we had no infrastructure. We just filled up a van with books and we slept on the books and we said, sorry, Krishna, I'm going to have to take rest now, but tomorrow I'll distribute you, okay? The next day you go out and you distribute. Now you may say, how can you do this? This is not proper. If you're in war, there are different types of rules that apply. So, we would like to see a building of teams, and we would like to see some innovation coming out of this place. Because many things have been done before, but there is no hard and fast rules. You can use your intelligence, how to change the game, how to communicate the message in different ways. And there's so many ways, so many ideas. Yes, Gita contest has been done. Yes, sponsored books has been done. It still works. You can set up book tables in malls or in front of metros. You can go to schools and do value contests, to universities. You can go store to store, shop to shop. You can go on the street. You can go to temples. You can just meet people. You can do it through friends. You can do it through Harinam Sankirtan. You go around to some housing complex. You chant. People come out. You say, we're from ISKCON. We came here to give a gift to all the nice people who live here. Any donation is appreciated. I was just in the Caribbean, in Guyana. You heard of Guyana? Yeah, it's all people for Eastern UP and Bihar. They went there for sugar cane cutting, you know. When they abolished slavery, they needed the British, they needed labor. So they reached out and they got from poor places people to come. And now they own the country. It took a while. I'm not going to get into the details. But now they own the country. And so they're there in the Caribbean, in all the islands. Yet people are stuck in comfort zone. So if you're giving a talk somewhere in some corporation and you're doing whatever topic, maybe mind control, maybe communication, maybe time management, maybe how to deal with stress, you name it. And you just put books on the table. And afterwards, you just tell people that whatever I've spoken about is coming from these books. And I brought these for all of you, for all my friends. That's how Prabhupada distributed books. He said, I brought these books all the way from India for my special friends. Would you like to get one? Nobody refused. So, and many books will go out, but then you should also follow up. You should have, when you have planned outreach, you should plan to follow up. You should take their contact and say, okay, we also have, we have a course, DYI, Discover Yourself, or Shastra course, or whatever. And then you keep in touch with them. I was distributing books in San Francisco, in Haight-Ashbury. There's a young gentleman, he met me and he said, this was just what I was looking for. And he took a few books and he walked away. And afterwards I was thinking, oh man, I didn't take his contact. Why not? The next day I met the same gentleman again. And this time I took his contact. And then I invited him and he came to our Bhakti Center. And then he came to Mayapur twice. And I went to their parents, his parents' home. His dad is a big CEO, he's got his own company. And he took all the books. I've been coaching him once a week. When he's on his power walks on Saturday, he called me and asked me all kinds of questions. So, don't underestimate the value of these books. Whatever we do is based on these books. This is the foundation. If you don't have a strong foundation, not going to last. Very soon, people will ask you for answers, for guidance, for help. What do you give them? A Band-Aid? A few candies? And a pat on the back? No. You got to give them better than that. You got to give them substance. You got to give them Prabhupada's books. So, I was in Dallas, Texas, and I was walking around and doing store to store. And I walked into a store, and it looked like I was in India. There was pictures, and there was an altar, and there was so many. I felt like being in India. And there was a young gentleman, Ram Tulsi. And he's a Jyotish. He studied in Bangalore. He went to Gurukul. Smart guy. And I said, how is life? How's things going? And he said, a lot of work, these people, a lot of questions, a lot of problems. I said, yeah, I understand. But, you need to educate them. Don't just sell them your astrology, you need to educate them. You need books. You need to give them books. Because you don't have that much time to talk with them. So say, look, read this Gita and all the answers are there. You'll figure it out. You're a smart guy. He said, yes, this is true. I need books. I said, well, how many books do you need? He said, I need a lot of books. I have so many clients. I said, well, I got my van right outside. How many books do you want? He said, I need many books. So I brought him a few hundred books. I piled up a whole table full of books. And then he asked, how much? I said, well, look, this is like Gurukul. Look, I do I give everything and you give as much as you can, right? It's called seva. You heard of that? Yeah. Okay, now comes the punchline. This is like the dream of every book distributor, right? So he opens the drawer, he puts his hand in, and he grabs the stack of cash, and he just hands it to me without counting. Almost 1 lakh. 1 year later, I come back to his store. I ask him, how's it going? He said, wonderful. People are reading the books. It's working. Less questions. But I still have books. Don't worry. I said, it's fine. I brought you a gift. I brought him Bhagavatam and CC for him. This is for you. Okay? He opened the drawer, stuck his hand in, gave me another wad of cash. You want to know where he lives? I'm not going to give you the address. But don't worry, he already has all the books. Okay? So these people are everywhere. They're everywhere. We're not trying to convert people. Would you like to be converted? No? Would you like to be converted? What about you? You, no. Would you like to be inspired? Okay. So change your tactics, change your dialogue. And you will notice that even if people from a different sampradaya or from a different religion, there is some appreciation of virtue. There is some appreciation of bhakti. There's some appreciation of selfless service. People can resonate with this. So be less stuck in cultural conditioning, because this place is getting pretty international, pretty cosmopolitan, and pretty liberal. Have you noticed? Only one rule, no rules. Get the job done. I was in Iceland, Reykjavik, in the Indian embassy on Radastami. Not this year. I was in Ukraine, in Kiev. But the year before, I was in Reykjavik, in the Indian embassy, and we're doing a program for Radastami. And after the program, there's an Icelandic old hippie. You know what a hippie is? You heard of the hippies, right? And after the program, she runs up to me and she wants to give me a big hug. And I apply the most powerful martial arts move that exists. And I learned it from my Gurudev. You know what that is? The most powerful martial arts move? Huh? Like this. I went like this. And she was already flying through the air. And then she yelled out, "No rules!" And she ran out the door and she never came back. So right now people are not too high on protocol. They're not too high on dharma. Have you noticed? Anything goes. Whatever gets the job done. So if you want to keep your own sanity and the sanity of your family and your children, and to be part of the solution, because otherwise you're part of the problem, please get involved with the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Money back guarantee from this seminar. You're not going to regret it. Confirmed. So we bought a few books here. We brought a few books here. PBT has published it, and it's last 4 decades of experiences. If I could have paid 1 crore to get the experience and the realizations from that book 40 years ago, I would have paid 2 crores for it. But there is no shortcut. You still have to go through life and pay the price. Information without application does not lead to realization. And without realization, there is no transformation. People are not looking for transactional relationships. People are looking for transformational relationships. That means, are you here for me? Is there customer care? They don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. Are you going to help me? I had 3 people, Atma Tattva, Rajavidya, Gora Lila. I could call 24/7 and they would spend an hour talking to me on the phone. I'm a 15-year-old kid. I got no money. I'm no asset. I'm not a likely prospect or candidate for joining or for conversion. But they kept on investing. I thought, if you can be so generous like these people, you must have something that's so great that you can do that. I want what you have. So, and I'm eternally grateful to them because they're my Shiksha Gurus. So we're here today because of the tears, the sacrifices, and the hard work of our ancestors. If we want to do something of magnitude, you see, a culture is preserved not through legislation, but through role models. We need to see role models, practical examples of how this Bhagavad culture, how this Vedic culture is actually lived today in today's context. Otherwise, you're going to lose your kids, you're going to lose your sanity, and you're going to lose your self-respect. And that's not a good thing. Huh? So, let us start where we are right now, right here, and improve our dialogue. I see tremendous potential here. I see individual, amazing caliber. Now, I know I'm an analyst. That's my job. I do leadership training all around the world. So, but I don't see a strong team here yet because there's still too much individualism and too much agenda, too much own ideas. Because, you see, if you're in engineering, it's not about team play. It's about becoming the topper. It's about becoming the best guy. But later on, you learn that if you want to do bigger things, you have to work in teams. You can't do it alone. It's too big. You just can't. And if I'm not team compatible, then I can't build teams because I don't know how to do this stuff. What we're doing here is called communication. We're having a little samvad, a little discussion. I'm asking you some questions. I'm telling you a few stories. I expect a little emotional participation here. I want to get your thinking process going. Huh? And because after that, after communication comes what? Prasadam, right? No. Comes cooperation, collaboration. It comes working together. That's what comes next. And once you're actually together, working together, back to back, in the trenches, after a while, after a short while, you actually develop love and trust. Why am I here? Because I trust Sri Ram. I trust Revati Prabhu. I trust Radhe Shyam. Why? Because we've worked over decades on projects. We went through fire. We had to deal with difficult issues. Then you see what a person is actually up for when things go south, when they go bad. Huh? Not who shows up, to cut the ribbon and, for the big festival and all that stuff. No, Monday morning, cleanup crew. Who is there when things get difficult? So we want to have Prema Pumartha Mohan, right? But how are we going to get there? Huh? What's the beginning before Prem? What's the beginning? Hmm? Yeah, and then Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, yeah. So if you wonder, am I Bhava or am I Prema or am I already Raganuga? Where am I? What about Anartha Nivritti? Huh? What about sadhana? It's not a bad thing, right? So you have to be realistic. And don't worry, one drop of nectar can drown you in an ocean of Krishna Prema. So don't be too anxious. One time I was in Bhubaneswar at the airport with my Guru Maharaj, and there was only 2 counters, a small airport. Both said Air India Mumbai. One had a long line of people and the other one had no people, but there was somebody there. So me being me from Switzerland, me and queues, we're not friends. I just walk up to the empty counter and I say, hey, it's for Gurudev, right? It's service. And I just want to check in the bags. And I look around and I see my Guru is already at the end of the line. And I realize it's not about being faster. It's not about being smarter. It's about doing the right thing. People are watching you. Huh? They're thinking, oh, yeah, ISKCON Valas, huh? Cutting the queue, huh? Yeah, ISKCON Valas, yeah. Huh? People are watching you. Huh? So, it's important. We have to walk the talk. Otherwise, people will call us hypocrites. And that's not a good thing. So these are a few reflections. We have time for a couple of comments or questions. And after that, we brought a few boxes of gifts. Christmas came early, or Diwali came late, or whatever you want to call it. And then, any questions? Now is a good time. No questions.
Very inspiring talk. So my question is, like you said, we have to read the books to.
Yes.
But reading all purpose books takes long time. Right?
You may not read all the books. You see, a pharmacist, he may not have tried all the medicines in his store. But he knows they're good products. They're good companies and they work, okay? So, but you have to have some knowledge and some taste. That's all it takes, okay? And you have to keep on reading. When I went out, I started when I was 15 years old. And I told people, I'm a monk. And they looked at me and said, does your mom know that you're here? And I realized, maybe I'm not a monk yet, you know? And I told them, okay, I'm a student. And they said, oh yeah, he's a student. Yeah, I get that. So what do you got for me? You have a book for me? Can I give you something? Sure, I'll help you. So you have to know what is your adhikar. You have to know what is your level. Okay? You may not have all the answers, but you can say, look, I'm a volunteer. I'm an engineer. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. But I'm a volunteer for ISKCON. If you're worried about your reputation, just tell people, I'm a volunteer for ISKCON. And then you ask them, have you heard of ISKCON? And 90% yes. They say, wow, you're an engineer, you're a lawyer, you're a professor, and you're doing volunteer service, seva? People still do that? I say, yes, right here, right now. And you can help. Can you help? Please? And I guarantee you, 70% will immediately say yes. And then you say, cash or UPI? Jewelry or stock options? What do you got? We take it. No problem. I know your false ego tells you, oh, no, you're introvert, you're shy. You can't say that. You can't ask people for something. But all day long, what are you doing? You're selling products. You're selling services. You're being aggressive. But then when it comes to preaching, you're like, no, you should be a lion on the chase. And at home, you should be a lamb. You should be peaceful. Not the other way around. Okay? So you may not have all the answers, but you can say, look, you go to the temple, there is some sadhus. They will answer all your questions. Sometimes here in the South, you have people who like to argue. Have you noticed? People like to argue. I almost missed my flight today. There was a guy. He said, 8 people are waiting at the gate. They have to come. We're in the same group. He wanted to run out. I know, if this guy leaves the airplane, the whole thing is bust. Because they think he dropped something on the plane. They're going to search the whole plane, right? So I said, no way, I'm going to stop that guy. So what was my point? Argue. Yeah, he was arguing with 5 of those indigo people. And it was debating with them. Just tell people, you know, I'm not so smart. I'm not so educated. But there's some smart people. You just come to the temple. They will, you know, they'll give you a good fight. But me, I just don't know so much. But you please just take this and give something. People will. Huh? Take the humble position. They say, you're a scholar. You're a very educated person. I can see that. But I have one humble request. Please forget all this nonsense and just give a donation and take this. It'll be good for you. You put it in a different way, you know, so the person can appreciate it. Help them to overcome their ego. Huh? Krishna will help you. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. There is no script for this stuff. You have to venture out of comfort zone. Huh? You may know all the other stuff, but this is under Krishna's control. And that's the greatest bliss. Nimitta matram bhavyasavya sachin. When you're an instrument in Krishna's hand, and Krishna guides your chariot, and he gives you the words, and he says, no, over here, talk to this person. No, talk to that person. Do this, say that. And you say things and you know things that you didn't know before. Have you had that experience? And people say, wow, how did you know? Huh? And it touches them. You see the transformation. Sometimes the people get more ecstatic, more emotional than you are. And you're like, hey, slow down, you know? I'm the Pandit, I'm the Brahmin, I'm the teacher, I know this stuff. Yeah, I was also, you know, Utsahamai, yeah, you're a new fight, it's okay. No. How come new people are sometimes more enthusiastic than we? How is it possible? Huh? Krishna can inspire anybody. Huh? Last question. Yes.
Hello, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for my stuff. My question is, Prabhuji, we, especially talking about Indians, this setting, software employees and like that, we all have this desire. We see wonderful when people, we see young people distributing books in the signals in Hyderabad. So here or there, we have a little desire to book distribution. But we are not able to get started. Talking about myself. So you said this should work in teams. This
Yes.
makes wonders when we go in teams. Any tips or suggestions, Prabhuji, so that we can
Yes.
start probably right now
Yes,
and
absolutely.
hit the roads.
You talk to Śrīla Prabhu, he's the expert. There's so many experts here in the Hyderabad area, and you can team up with them. He can give you the contacts, and they will come and assist your team because you already have a few friends, how it's being done. You see recruiters, I talk to them all the time because that's what I do. And they say, you can train anybody in 3 months to do a technical skill. In 3 months. Simple as that. But to train character, that takes decades. So we're recruiting character, not skill. Skill you can train. Character, you can't. Okay? So the skills, the how, that's not the problem. The what and the why, those are the problems. What are we doing here? We're not moving a product. Amazon ships product. Flipkart ships product. Mishu ships product. ISKCON doesn't ship product. We're giving you an opportunity. How much is an opportunity? It's priceless. It's priceless. I was in Mumbai about to board a flight. In front of me was a loud American. You know what a loud American is? You ever worked in customer service and people get a little loud? No? You're lucky. So he turned around and he looked at me and he said, what, you're trying to be a monk or what? And I said, yeah, I've been trying for 30 years. And I reach in my bag and I hand him a Gita and I said, this is a gift for you. And he was, system error, system error, system error. He went blank because he just said something he thought was very smart and he got a gift and it's not what he expected. And then he said, can I give you something? And I said, normally we don't take anything, but with you, I will make an exception. He said, well, how much? How much? I said, well, some people, they give their whole life. I said, you can't do that? Why don't you give $1 million? I mean, you're a big guy, right? And the lady picked up the mic to announce the flight. I know I got 5 seconds, then the line starts moving. So I said, just give 1,000 rupees. So he gave me $1,000 and walked in the plane. The point I'm making here is people are not looking for transactions. They're looking for transformation. But that means I have to step outside a comfort zone. I have to lower my levels of defense mechanism and be a little accessible, available, a little vulnerable. And then people will do the same. They'll pay you back in the same currency, in the same price. Once they realize you and me, we have the same. We share the same concerns. We share the same struggles. We're in the same team. We're doing this together. Then the how, this becomes very easy. Okay? You find your coach, you find your mentors, you find your friends. You figured out how to get the job, how to get the girl, how to build, how to get the millions. So it's not so difficult. It's been done before. Brahma was in anxiety before creation. So Krishna told him, don't be anxious and don't be depressed. Whatever you're praying for, it's being granted so many times. In other words, you're not the first Brahma. You're not the first Tekiwala. You're not the first guy who wants to go out and communicate Bhagavad Gita. It's been done before. So just get on with it. And Nimitta Matram Bhavya Savya Sachi. It's all in here. Nishkam Karma Yoga. You know what they teach in MBA? Nishkam Karma Yoga. Be more process-oriented, less result-oriented. Where did they get that stuff from? Here, Bhagavad Gita. Who is giving credit to Krishna? Nobody. Nobody. So, we know you have to be able to make that connection. And everything that works in this world works because there's some part of Vedic, some part of truth involved. That's what makes it work. Okay? So you appreciate people, and they will appreciate you back. And here you have educated people from all over the world and from all over India. So you can't be too much in your cultural conditioning. Where you're born, what's your school, what's your jati, all that stuff. No. What counts is, what do you bring to the team? What do you got to contribute, right? That's the only question people ask. I was in Udupi, and one Pandit was walking with a big stack of books, and I stopped him and gave him one of Prabhupada's books. He had 12 students there. You know, big Uttariya, big Tilak, big Shika. And he was asking me, what is your qualification? What does that mean? Which school? Which gotra? What education? Whatever I'm going to say, he's not going to like it. What do you say when you don't know what to say? Have you ever been in a situation? Huh? You're at the immigration and they ask, huh? Where are you from? What do you mean? Where I'm born? What nationality I am? Where I boarded the plane? Or what do you mean? You can say, this is a very good question. That gives you 2 seconds to think. Okay. So what do you say when you don't know what to say? Any idea? Krishna! I need a miracle right now. Nothing I can say that will impress this person. But you can. And I said, Gopi Bharta Parakamala Yordasa Dasa Nudasa. And he went like this, and he rolled. He was a healthy fellow, you know, big guy. He rolled out his dhoti, and he took out 10 rupee, and he handed it to me, and he said, good boy, keep going. I could not reach him, but Krishna can reach everybody. Because Krishna is already there in the heart. When the Krishna in your heart and the Krishna in the heart of the person sees, it's the same Krishna, that you're actually sincere. You're not pretentious, but you're just trying to serve. Krishna will do whatever it takes. Even if it's impossible. Sometimes people are gone. They already walked away. They already said no. It's already kaput. And they turn around and come back. And say, okay, I changed my mind. All right, okay, I take it. Have you had experiences? It was a Christian couple. They was telling me the Jesus and the this and the that and you're bad and you're doing this and that. And did I already tell that story? No, not yet? No. Okay. I'm going to too many places in a day, you know. So sometimes you lose track. Last story. Then I said, you know, I love you too, you know. God bless. Thank you, you know. We need more people like you. Have a wonderful day. And they just walked away. After 5 minutes, they came back. You know, we're idiots. We're sorry, you know. We were really nasty. We were not nice to you. We want to apologize. I said, okay, apology accepted, but you got to take this book. They took the book. So if you learn the art of appreciation, people will pay you back with the same currency. If you give your heart, people will reciprocate. Don't think you're going to be the loser. And the only language people speak is empathy. You can't fake it. It's not a t-shirt or a slogan, you know. You have to actually care. Why? Because Krishna cares about us. Without Jiva Doya, there is no Namruchi. You can chant 1,008 rounds every day. If you don't have Jiva Doya, if you don't feel compassion for other living entities, it's just show. It's just external. Krishna is not impressed. Krishna wants to see, what are you going to do for all the others? So thank you for your kind attention. It's been a great time here. It's nice to see Bhakti Center, Hyderabad, vibrant, alive and kicking. And you're getting ready to start the big project and to do big things. What's the use of being in Hyderabad if you can't do something amazing for Krishna, right? What's the use? Why all this hard work? Why all this traffic? Why all this headache if you can't do something amazing for Krishna? But we need to improve our communication, our cooperation, and I guarantee you, love and trust will become a reality. So we brought a few books for you, and my friend Sri Ram, my friend over here, they will explain how it works. You can also get a signature if you like. So we have a few cases. You can sponsor a case. You can sponsor the whole print run. You know, whatever you want to do, you do. It's up to you. There's also an ebook included. So if you're not a book guy and you like the digital version, you can gift the book to someone else. There's a QR code in there. So I brought these books just for you. Because I could be sitting in Mayapur right now, just walking on Jalangi, chanting Hare Krishna, and seeing the rice grow and having Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. But I'd rather be here with you, because this is more exciting. Because Mayapur is going to be there, and we'll go back there. But this is good. You're in a good place. So please use this opportunity. Don't take it for granted. Use it or lose it. Krishna has given you a wonderful opportunity. Thank you for showing up. 50% of your success is showing up at the right place at the right time. And the other 50%, utsaha, enthusiasm. Who said that? Which one of the great acharyas? Charlie Chaplin. And never lose your humor or your appetite. Otherwise, you'll die young from strange diseases. So keep a positive attitude, because people are going to take one look at you, and your kids are going to take one look at you, and they will decide, do I want to become like this grumpy young man or not? So do yourself a favor. Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna and be depressed. Chant Hare Krishna and be miserable. Chant Hare Krishna and be morose. No, he said chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But here in India, it's chant Hare Krishna and be happy, happy. Right? So, and you're doing good. You're doing good. Thank you very much. All glories to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Could you all feel electric energy coming out of this circuit? And all of that energy is capsulated into this book, which is high voltage book, and it's reviewed by Niranjan Maharaj, Jagataka Maharaj, Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and many other great gurus in our movement are recommending it. Prabhuji has personally written it, and I just read the review of Radhanath Maharaj. It says 40 years of realizations and experiences are there in one place. Right? So we don't want to miss this. It will motivate us to do more, and I'm so happy to see His Grace Navina Nīrada Prabhu here. Prabhu, I've heard your lectures in Chopati and many places where you've given. And it's so exciting to have you here. Śrīla Prabhu has brought you here, and he himself has been serving Vaishnav Maharaj, and I was also there for some time with Vaishnav Maharaj in US. And what an inspiration! The kind of lectures that we hear. I was just telling Prabhuji sitting beside him, I'm feeling the same vibes of Vaishnav Prabhu when you're speaking here. The same persistence that we can do something, we all can do something, and we have to be organized. Right? Maharaj there conducts, what is it called, MSF, monthly Sankirtan festival, something like that. So we all should also do that. Hopefully, we'll also be getting Vaishnav Prabhu here sometime to hear. Yeah. Sorry. Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
In front. It's in front.
Right.
Yeah, we also made 17 videos between 1 and 2 minutes. You may have seen some of them. We're a professional film team. So we're going to show a few of those and do the book signing thing. Yeah. You know why we're not only focusing on the marathon is because it's much harder to get into shape than to stay in shape. Have you noticed? When you're out of shape, it's hard to get back into shape. But if you just maintain, it's easy. You can just do a little bit every day or every week, and you can maintain. So if you just go out once a year, it's a big endeavor, it's a big push. But if you go out regularly, it becomes easy. So Sankirtan is fun and easy. Can you say that? Sankirtan is fun and easy. Do you believe it? Yes. Doesn't sound convincing. Yes. All right. Okay. Okay, so we're going to show you a little something.
Books are right there on the book table there, right? So
who is our book guy? Who has handled the books?
Yeah.
Which one?
There near the book table.
Outside, inside?
Yeah.
Who gets in, please get it. Who misses it, we don't get it.
Yeah. So we have a limited stock.
We have been doing morning. We did 600 books in 1 hour. There's a high demand for these books.
There you go.
Hare Krishna.
First one is Sankirtan. So, Prabhuji, I just want to also tell you that there are many devotees here who are running small bhakti rickshaws.
Yes.
In the last 6 years,
Yeah.
they together have done 2,000 bhaktis.
Haribo! Yeah.
And when recently when His Holiness Bhakti Prem Maharaj was here, he said at one event we did 150 Chaitanya Charitamrits.
Haribo!
Yeah. So we are into distribution, but one of the areas we really like is the road book, getting on the road and doing it.
Yes.
So we are more into communities and community, kind of preaching and distribution. But I think your lecture here will definitely inspire us to go on to the
Okay.
roads.
Okay. Thank
Very,
you.
very, very happy to see you here. So if somebody wants to get it signed, should we get it signed here for you? Yeah. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
And maybe
you can get
somebody
your-
can also give out a few books inside because there's too much traffic
Yeah,
jam
there's a
there.
lot of, can others please start coming a little inside the space made? You can come and take the sign. While we play the videos.
Show the chain reaction one. Does the sound also work? Sound
Yeah,
works?
yeah, yeah.
You mean? Just go on my website. My website. My YouTube channel. Haribo.
Is there a pen there?
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Sure.
Prabhu, camera. Ate ila ila. Line up.
You can keep the pen. Thank you.
Is using it with full storage. Another Warped Tour story, Big Rock Tour. I was having a
Volume,
day.
volume.
I took a break and went to the restroom. When I came back, one young man had opened my boxes
More
and was
volume.
handing out the books for free. He was so enthusiastic. Everyone was taking.
Yes.
He was glowing. He was so on fire. I appreciated his enthusiasm, and I saw that he could do what I could not do. I got more inspired by his example. Later on, I met one boy. He was holding half a page of the Bhagavad Gita. A book had gotten into the mosh pit and torn up. He came with half a page of the Bhagavad Gita, frantically looking for the rest of the book. He said, "This is the best thing I've ever read. Where is the rest? Where's the rest? I need to find how the story continues." I said, "Slow down. I can help you. I got what you're looking for."
Sri Ram. Next one. Just go down the list.
Once in Aarhus, Denmark, I met an elderly lady on her bicycle at the train station. When I showed her the Bhagavad Gita, she pointed to Śrīla Prabhupāda's picture and said, "I met this man." I told her that he had passed away many years ago. She told me that she's from Hollywood, California. That when she was 16,
You have more volume?
her
Volume?
best friend,
Volume,
Nirada,
volume.
is in Culver City.
Volume, volume, volume. Up, up.
She said that when he stepped out of the car, we were throwing flower petals on the street, and then she looked at me, and with a smile, "Mr. Vasil," she said, "afterwards, I collected the flower petals that he had walked on, and I still have them today." She was very happy to receive the Bhagavad Gita and other books. She gave me a donation and started giving me her groceries. She gave me her fruits, her vegetables. She wanted to give me her bicycle. me
Whoa, whoa,
that
whoa,
precious
whoa, whoa, whoa.
moment.
Turn the mic off.
You were witnessing the miracle of Krishna Bhakti.
Make it faster.
Yeah, if somebody opens the books, it's faster.
Do you know what will happen if
Krishna, we have Krishna. Please don't leave. After the book signing, closing the book is not given about the side.
Śrīla Prabhu was one of the first big book distributors. He traveled widely and taught others the art of book distribution. One time in Los Angeles, he entered Śrīla Prabhupāda's quarters. Śrīla Prabhupada appreciated his service so much that he gave him his own shirt. Later on in life, Budimanta was terminally ill with leukemia,
How are you?
and he was residing in Vrindavan. After Govardhan Parikrama, and he was telling us how Śrīla Prabhupada was so happy by his service of Sankirtan, and that he was giving him his own shirt, and then he was laughing loudly and saying, I was only distributing a few books. You're distributing thousands of books. What would Śrīla Prabhupada give you? Later on, we went back to the West.
How are you?
We heard that Budimanta had passed away from this world in Vrindavan. The day was Shivaratri. It was the biggest day that any of us had in that year. People were just looking at us and taking books and throwing money at us. We realized that because Budimanta had given his life
How are you?
for preaching, for book distribution, on that day, nobody could refuse the mercy. In spring of 1985, I was distributing books in a conservative part of Switzerland. Big houses, big fences, big dogs, and big egos. Yet one lady, she told me that my nephew had been to India. Happily, she took 3 books and gave me his contact. I invited him. He came on one of the following Sundays with his friends. They had long hair and red eyes because they had smoked hashish. They said they already know all this. Yet I was Bhakti Nico. Bhakti Nico doesn't take no for an answer. Very enthusiastically, I showed them the temple.